Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Manning Field for Game 2 of Day 1, our brand new season here on LETV. This is the second game of the Lynn City Tournament, soccer-wise. In the first one, Lynn Glasgow girls defeated Tech, and now it's St. Mary's taking on Lynn English. So the winner of this will get Classical on Saturday. The loser will get Tech. St. Mary's in the white, English in the maroon. English is the more experienced of the teams. They get a lot of some very, very good players. Skabikases and Maloney's. In net for St. Mary's is an 8th grader, Eleni Echevarria. Madeline Valencia. In net for English. As I've got the lights on here at Manning Field. We don't really need them right now because it's still pretty good sunshine. Trying to get a shot off. English bothering him, not letting him. And he calls St. Mary's offside. Nice to be back. I mentioned the first game I was driving my wife crazy. There was nothing to do. We had a couple of Babe Ruth games and the Aganis games over the summer, but that was it. Usually we have Little League City Series, Williamsport qualifying games. We had none of that this year because the Little League in the city has dwindled considerably. It used to be 7 leagues. Now I think there might be 4. And there aren't many teams in those 4. They knock it home. Just caught the far post and deflected in off Soapy Skabikas. And in less than 3 minutes, St. Mary's has grabbed a 1-0 lead. Patty Curran, welcome aboard. Her first year as the new coach at St. Mary's. Jim Foley, retired. Got tired of long bus rides. Maloney had it knocked away. So welcome aboard to Patty Curran. Peter Papagiannopoulos. Try to say that 5 times fast. Does an excellent job at Lynn English. Been around for a while. Helping in other sports as well. The kick went in the net. She kicked it out in front, it bounced, it went off a defender, and it went in the net. So the corner kick. That corner kick was by an outstanding athlete, Bella Awumi. Not a bad basketball player. Last year, she became a legitimate high school player after being a 7th and 8th grade starter on the basketball team that won state championships. She was a part of 3 in a row, and she was a huge part. She's a great player. And she's a very good soccer player as well. And her sister has jumped on board, 8th grader Angelina Awumi. So the family doing very well at St. Mary's. And Bella Awumi already has huge offers from big-time colleges for basketball. She just kicked that corner kick. It went right in front. It bounced, and when it bounced past the goaltender, it touched an English player and went into the net. Lead pass. Here comes Kubikas walking in. It looked like Valencia made a big-time save. She got a piece of the shot, but Kubikas with a wide open, I think it was Maloney that made the pass. Kubikas walked in all by herself, and it looked like Valencia was going to make a tremendous save. She got a piece of the shot, but it popped up and bounced inside the far post. And all of a sudden, it's 3-0. And Kubikas is right back at it. She's their big scorer. And she's only a junior. Her sister's a very good player as well. Her sister's a senior. St. Mary's got a lot of players back from last year. And they hope to have a very good year this year. They knock it deep again. And here comes Kubikas again, walking in. She hit it right to the goaltender and then got the rebound and knocked it home. So Valencia made the save. And when she made the save, it deflected back to Kubikas. And she's got a hat trick. And we've only played 5.5 minutes. And I think Coach Papagiannopoulos wants a timeout to talk about, try to settle the crew down. He's against a very good St. Mary's team, and all of a sudden, 5.5 in, it's 4-0 St. Mary's. We got a timeout. So they try to settle the English girls down, but I don't know. St. Mary's making wholesale changes. St. Mary's is one of the better teams in the state. It's a tough call for English. Couple of nice shifts, couple of nice moves by Mariah Fowler. I remember her from last year. She's a very good player. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a lot of experience with her. So she's got to do a lot by herself. Maloney pass went behind Fiona Dunn. Fiona Dunn is a 7th grader. Kaylee Patterson is another 7th grader. Angelina Woomy is an 8th grader. The goaltender is an 8th grader. they only have 7 seniors. But those seniors are a big-time part of this team. We're only broken up. They tip it back, and he'll give it to the goaltender Echeverria to kick away. She just kicks it to the far side. Almost went out of bounds. St. Mary's winds up with it. Trying to knock it deep. Nice defense. Maloney keeps it alive. Trying to kick it back. It got picked off by Fowler off her foot. St. Mary's gets the deflection. Back to Echeverria. Taken away nicely. That was Halen Romero. What a nice defensive play by English. Kick behind everybody. Hannah Claffey will let it go out of play. Fowler tried to pick it off. Back to Echeverria. Again, she just kicks it to one of her defenders. And St. Mary's, these games all running together. St. Mary's will bring it upfield. Off Maloney. English knocks it away. Deep down the far side. St. Mary's gets there first. And again, they give it to Echeverria to kick away. Upfield to Kaylee Johnson. Maloney got a piece, couldn't hang on. And English knocks it out. We're going to have mass substitution again for St. Mary's. Patty Curran probably was hoping for a great start. I don't think she would ever imagine this great a start. Getting 4 goals within 5 minutes. And give it back to Echeverria again. English picks it off. St. Mary's takes it back. Tipped ahead. And tipping it in. Great hustle, got to it. The goaltender came out, couldn't get to it. And he just got a little piece and it just kind of rolled in. Agonizingly, it rolled in the net. That was Kaylee Patterson, who's a 7th grader. Kaylee Patterson had a great start to her season. Seventh grader knocks it home and just adds to the agony going on the English sideline. They're just having to face a very experienced, highly power offensive soccer team. Out off St. Mary's. Dick Newton, the AD of English, is with me, and Dick, the good thing about this is people get out, you get the season going, and the teams get started, and the coaches get to see what they really have, because you don't get to see much in scrimmages and practices.
This isn't the way we like to start it, though, against St. Mary's.
No, that's for sure.
It's like playing an all-star team.
Yep.
And I just wish a Lynn tournament was more a Lynn tournament, not a Lynn tournament against an all-star team, that's all. And, you know, I think that St. Mary's got a good team, and there's no doubt about it. We have a lot of kids that just come out to play for the first time, and we're in a different level here. And it'd be a good test for St. Mary's, maybe the next game, and when they play a team that's in their caliber.
Yeah, well, it's something, you know, when you have a city like Lynn and you have 5 high schools, I don't know if there's any place in the world that has 5 high schools in the same city, and you spread the talent out, you know, around. I mean, I'll ask you, do you think there's a time that's coming when we see with other teams in other areas that don't have 5 high schools? Do you think it may be coming when Lynn maybe combines?
We have cities like Springfield and Boston that are in the same boat as us. They have a lot of kids coming in that are from different countries that are just learning how to play organized soccer, and they don't have to play a St. Mary's their first game. And it makes a big difference. They play teams in their caliber and their divisions, and it makes a big difference. I think eventually you're seeing a diminishing participation rate in Lynn. So you're going to see eventually that English and class are going to have to combine and co-op in more sports. We already do it in hockey. We already do it in lacrosse, in wrestling. So I think football, we have 34 kids out for the team. Classical's in the same boat. Eventually the number's going to change and go even lower. And the demographics have changed dramatically in Lynn, where to suffice, I won't even count St. Mary's because half the kids on the teams aren't even from Lynn. But, you know, you take Kip, who drew a lot of kids out of the Highlands that were our kids, and they've done very well in their division. But, you know, you take basketball, we'll always be okay in basketball. I'm not worried about baseball. We'll always be okay in baseball. But we're not fielding freshman teams like we used to, and there's no feeder program. And then you have coaches in football that are in that run the program or around the program that are all of, that coach assistant coaches at St. John's Prep. So they're taking the cream of the crop and send them to St. John's Prep, or they go to St. Mary's, or they go to Bishop Fenwick, and then we get some of the other kids. So in with 3 high schools going around there, it's very difficult to continually field competitive teams.
Well, I look, and I've said many times, you got 5 high schools, but you also have Lynn kids playing at Bishop Fenwick. You have Lynn kids playing at St. John's Prep. A couple of years ago, we had a couple of kids playing at Essex Tech. We had. I can remember there was an outstanding basketball player at, I think it was Breed, getting set to come in. Everybody was saying we can't wait to see how he works in high school, and he went right to with the semi-pros, as I call it, and never got to play in Lynn, So it's a tremendous disadvantage. And also with the coaches, as you mentioned, the coaches are reluctant to take over games. And you got kids now, they're more intent on looking at telephones than they are at going to practice and spending time doing that.
Well, it's a challenge when numbers become a problem. The kids start to feel like they're more important than really what they should be when it comes to playing for a team. We have a lot of free agents in the city of Lynn. They shop in the 8th grade. They're shopping around looking for what they think is the best school for them. And then you hear, well, I landed at classical or I landed at English. Well, there's pretty good football coaches at English, and Tyler McDonald, and at Lynn Classical, and Brian Vaughn. Those are 2 quality guys.
Sure.
So those, there's nothing wrong with if a kid told me he was going to classical, I would say good luck to him. You got Brian Vaughn there, who's a good guy, and my guy is as good as anybody around, and Tyler. So basketball's the same way. You got Alvin Abreu at my school, and you got Marvin Avery at classical. 2 quality guys that have won and know how to play, and they played at a higher level. And
I include Mr. Bingham at Tech.
Bingham, I mean, he's a very, very good coach. Look what he's done to that program.
Yep.
So, there's no reason why kids from Lynn shouldn't stay in Lynn, and it's very frustrating when you watch kids think that if they go to a greener pasture they're going to do better. Some do, some don't. So,
And it drives me crazy too, Dick, when you get kids and they start to excel, and all of a sudden they say, we'll leave them, we're going to go to prep school. And I say, you know what? I remember John Kennedy, the baseball coach, saying to me, if you're a player, we find you wherever you are, and the coach will find you. And you look at each year, I always say, look at the graduation record and see all these kids going to very good colleges, moving on to very good colleges. It's not necessary to go to prep school and leave your hometown.
In the olden days, say in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, St. John's Prep and St. Mary's would take kids out of the 8th grade going into the 9th grade. Now they're actively recruiting kids that are in the 9th and 10th grade to come to their school.
Yeah.
We lost 2 300-pound offensive tackles a couple of years ago, along with our starting quarterback. All 3 of them went to St. John's Prep as juniors. That's just not right. I mean, it's just not right. And I know people say, well, what's great for the kid? Yeah, I agree with them. But, they're actively recruiting these kids. And it makes it even more difficult for inner city schools, urban schools to succeed.
No, yeah, there's no question. And
I just want to say one thing. We would like to congratulate Mr. Hoffman. Mr. Hoffman has been newly elected to be inducted into the Lynn English Hall of Fame, and we're proud to say that Mr. Hoffman has done a lot for the city, and he was a unanimous choice, and we're just very, very happy for him.
Well, you called me today and gave me the word, and you blew me away. I am so very proud. My 2 daughters graduated from Lynn English High School, and I've got to know many of the people at Lynn English High School, including you. I coached you in CYO basketball.
Yeah.
We go back a very long way. I know you had a big part in this. I know Matt Wilkins had a big part in it as well, and I appreciate the effort. And the first thing I said when Dick called me today, he said, "You're going in." I said, "Do you have the right number? Because I graduated from St. Mary's."
Yeah, it's a good honor for you, and you deserve everything you get.
Well, I greatly appreciate it, my friend.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to that. And when I told my wife, she was ecstatic, and my 2 daughters, and they're looking forward to it as well. So
October 9th at the Davisport Yacht Club.
I can't thank you enough.
Anytime.
And here's another goal
Yeah, this is,
from right around the 10-yard line.
this doesn't do anybody.
No, this is not a good game. Now, St. Mary's makes mass substitutions.
And no fault for our kids, because our kids are new to the game, and it's a lot of them have played a little bit, but they never played organized soccer. Whereas these kids are all club kids, even the 7th graders.
Yep.
But
They didn't announce who got the goal. I guess they're waiting to find out.
St. Mary's goal scored by number 4,
Andrea Basta.
they'll make sure they announce it.
So we're halfway through, and St. Mary's has put 6 on the board. English has not come close to even getting a shot on net, and it's just an overwhelming, experienced, unbelievable offensive team. They've got a lot of great goal scorers for St. Mary's and a lot of premium players. And as Mr. Newton announced, and I talked to Peter Papanogoulos before the game, he said they're very young, they're very inexperienced. You know, they're not playing 52 weeks a year. They come out, and you're lucky to get the numbers you get at Lynn English, where some of these kids for St. Mary's will go on and play soccer in college. They play during the summer. They have a lot of experience.
Well, they throw the equity word out, and this is about as unequitable when kids from the St. Mary's side all play club soccer. And this is one of the reasons why we left the Northeast Conference, is because girls' sports were overwhelmed with just a different way, it's a different structure for them compared to our kids. Our kids, you know, they're workers, and they're taking care of their brothers and sisters, and some of them are even the money makers of the family, and they're playing soccer to try and help the school out and help the team out. Where these kids
There are instances, Dick, when some of these kids can't make practice because they have other things that they have to take care of, and whereas the only thing the St. Mary's kids have to worry about is what time is the game, what time is the practice, and where do we play and who do we play. English has to worry about a lot of family ties, as you just mentioned.
Well, I often get asked, "Geez, you know, you still happy about going to the GVL?" Absolutely, and this is one of the reasons why. We play like schools. We play Chelsea. We play Everett. We play Malden. We play Medford. Play Somerville. We play all those teams that revere, that are just like us, and we usually have competitive games with that, you know. And it's only when we get into these Lynn City tournaments, it's same in basketball, same in softball, and same in soccer. It's all the same. And I'm not an advocate of this.
Yeah, well, you know, it's difficult because, you know, you like to have with schools, although you can't, you could have Kip in here as well and have somebody draw a bye and try to come up with it would be a longer tournament, but you like to have city schools play against each other and have a city tournament championship, but you like to have a competitive city championship.
But they're not a city school. They're not a city school. They're not a school with Lynn kids. They have 2 or 3 kids from Lynn, maybe 4 kids from Lynn. Their basketball team had 1 girl from Lynn, 2 girls from Lynn. The rest of them were all outsiders, and that's why they're that as good as they are, you know. And it's you know, classical, you know, used to be the school that we were worried about in girls' sports, but even they are feeling the effects of the different kids that come to their school, and that's just that's just the way it is. That's the makeup of the city of Lynn now, you know. And we're trying to. I mean, softball, we made dramatic changes. We're much better in softball than we have been. Girls basketball will be better this year, but St. Mary's goes out and grabs 3 or 4 more girls from all different communities that are very good. Where are you back to square one with these kind of tournaments?
Yeah, it is difficult because, but even in the first game, classical against Lynn Tech has girls that are also like the guys in their different departments they take in school. They go out and
What was the score of that game?
7-0. Tech was totally outplayed, and it's the same thing. That Tech has players like boys and girls who can't make practice because they're working a job in the field that they take. They go out and work out in mechanical engineering or whatever they're taking, whatever field they're taking, and sometimes they have to concentrate on school and the jobs that they have. And
but I think high school sports is more of the high school experience. You're supposed to make playing a high school sport fun. It's supposed to be an enjoyable thing. It's supposed to be a social thing where you make friends and you make memories and you have a good time. And when you leave the school, you can say, "Yeah, I had a good time playing. We didn't win every game. We might have lost more than we won, but we had fun and we had a good time doing it." And that's what you do. I mean, when we won the 2 state championships, it was a different mentality because we knew we were that good and we had those kind of players in 2019 and 20. So we were expecting to be in the finals and win it, actually, because we thought we were that much better than everybody else.
That was Maloney with a wide open shot breaking in, and a nice save by Madeline Valencia. Tough for her. Her first time in net, and she's got to come against a team like this and face nothing but shots from everywhere, from every angle, from everybody coming back. And, while the St. Mary's goaltender could have bought a ticket and come in and to sit and watch the game, because the only time she touched is when her team kicked it back to her. And it's happened during the years past, Dick, because we've had instances where the score got run up, and we've had people playing keep away and playing 4 corners and running out the clock, and people in the seats getting upset because they came to watch soccer and they're watching people freeze. And and I don't know which is more embarrassing, holding onto the ball and not taking a shot, or running up a score. Either way, it's a bit of an embarrassment.
Yep.
And it just happens. There are years when teams are fairly equal and the games are fairly competitive, but then there are years when you have like this, when Tech against Classical and now English against St. Mary's, where it's just not really anything to write home about. And you sit and watch, and how long can you sit and watch this? The people coming in. But again,
I would say this. I would say Peter Pep, he took over the team this year, first-year coach. Didn't have many players come out on the sign-up, has worked hard, actively, and has done a great job coaching these kids, because these kids don't know much about positioning and where to go, and they're used to just kicking the ball around in their yard. So Peter's done a great job with numbers. If you notice, we got probably 20 kids out. We were worried about losing the program at one time. So he deserves a lot of credit. It's very different than the other side, where there's no question about who's coming out for the team, because they're actively going out and grabbing them kids.
Some of these girls may have never seen a soccer ball until they showed up to the first practice. And look and say, "What is this?" But the thing I said, and I said it during the game with Tech and Classical. Tech is down, out, but the effort is there. Like English right now.
Those girls work hard.
English now. They're not,
Girls in general.
they didn't give away these 6 goals. Right. They're working, they're doing the best they can. The girl that impresses me really the most is Mariah Fowler.
Yep.
She'd be she's one of those players that could have said, "You know what, I'm going to leave English, I'm going to go play someplace else where I can be a good player and maybe win some games." But she stayed and played with her teammates, her friends. She's a great example of an outstanding young lady.
Yep. I give all these girls on our team a lot of credit.
Absolutely. And the Tech kids too.
Yep. So.
Hopefully it'll be different when the season starts and you're playing not teams like this. And, Tech will play in their league. They'll play teams that they can compete with. And as a team, and as the season gets older, they'll become a little more experienced, maybe able to play the game a little bit better, maybe have an idea of what they're supposed to do. And now, I remember seeing games when you'd get the ball and it came to me, just kick it. I didn't care where it was going, just kick it away from me. Then
This is very similar to watching the Boverini basketball tournament with the St. Mary's girls against either Classical, English, Kip, or Tech. It's the same premise. It's lose by 60 or lose by, it's 6 with 10 minutes left, and he's got his 7th graders in. I mean, it's just not right. I mean,
Yeah, it's not something you look forward to.
No.
And And by the same token, St. Mary's leading 6-0. They're getting nothing out of this game.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know?
It doesn't do them any good.
This is unusual because when this game is over, the first thing you say is, forget this game.
Yeah.
Don't let this game be a preview of what's coming up, because what's coming up is not going to be the same as this.
No.
When you play in the Catholic Central League, you're going to be playing a lot better teams than this.
And they're playing Bishop Fenwick and
Yeah,
Bishop Stang
Yeah.
and Archbishop Williams and those teams. It's a
Yep.
different game.
yep, Arlington Catholic, and
Yep.
that'll be a totally different picture.
This would almost be like I don't know how to put it. It's I think the only city tournament that's very competitive is the baseball tournament.
Yeah, the Mullins.
The Mullins it's very competitive. Although St. Mary's has won it a few years, everybody stays with them. Classical's got a pretty good team, pretty good coach. We got a pretty good team, pretty good coach. And it's Swampscott with Joe Cap. They're always competitive. So I think that's a little different. But soccer and basketball, I think have almost run their course because St. Mary's and the Catholics have changed their game too. Where St. Mary's usually when I was a kid, St. Mary's had a lot of kids from Lynn. They all played, and now Catholics have just different. They take the best kid from Ipswich, the best kid from Swampscott, the best kid from Danvers, and the best kid from Lynn. So I think we all would agree with that, Comes another one, Coach. Bink.
Picked the ball off the defense. Nice try by Valencia with the dive, tried to make the save, and she just beat it. That's hard to block that Grand Canyon, as I call it, the goal. And St. Mary's just keeps making massive substitutions. And most of the fans are just saying, run the clock. We should have a mercy rule in soccer like we have in
Softball and baseball.
yeah. Even in football, you
Football
get to the
should be
point
interesting this year.
you run the clock.
Yeah, football should be really interesting this year. Classical's playing a tough schedule. They're playing Everett, North Attleboro.
Yeah, classical starts.
And then we play
Friday.
Lawrence and Swampscott the first two games. It should be really interesting to see how it works out.
It's so strange to see Brian Vaughan, former outstanding English football player, coaching arch enemy Lynn Classical.
Brian's a good man.
Oh, I guess he is.
Great football player. People ought to go on YouTube and watch Brian Vaughan play for Lynn English High School and how good he was.
Oh, I know.
And also Tyler McDonald on how good he was.
Yep.
Two outstanding.
Brian is a very
Hall of
good.
famous.
Brian's a very good friend of my daughter's. They went to school together, and every time I see him, he always asks me how my daughter is.
Two great guys too.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
They've hired some around the city. They've hired some quality people.
That's one of the joys I have in doing this. I've watching guys like I did Brian Vaughan's games. I didn't do yours, but I watched you when you were the quarterback in English and almost go to a Super Bowl. And I watch Tyler and I watch all those players. I watched Mr. Bingham at Tech, all the Binghams. I did all their games. I coached half the family, and to see all those great people and all the great coaches and all the years of the outstanding performances by athletes and seeing them come back and give back. A lot of times, people leave, you never see them again. We've got guys who are great athletes and contributed mightily in sports, come back and give back to the city. I see a lot of them come back and firemen, policemen, and EMTs,
Nice job, yeah.
They're on the school committee, they're on the city council, they were mayors in the past, and they come back, they want to give back to the city that gave to them, and that has been a big part of making my life really well because I see so many of these.
You see people grow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when you see people grow into, you know, really nice people, it's tremendous.
Well, I've watched them from Little League to Pop Warner to Babe Ruth to high school to go on to college and then come back and really give back to the city and contribute mightily to the city. You know, I mean, it's just it's outstanding. And the friends I've made, you know, everybody thinks I'm a multimillionaire because I've been doing this for so long. The one thing I relish are all the great friends I've made, and there are so many.
It's what amazes me is I don't think people understand how much time coaches put in.
Yeah.
And it's a like my football coach was in there all summer with the kids lifting. I know the tech guy was, and I know Brian does the same thing. And what they don't get paid for, it's amazing. And they work extremely hard. Basketball coaches doing off-season conditioning and shooting drills in the gym and running around, and soccer guys, you know, fall leagues and everything that goes with it. Baseball's the same way. Baseball's a year-round thing now with kids hitting on Sundays and all the other. It's amazing on what coaches do, and people say, you know, he's only after school. No, it's more than after school. It's become year-round for these guys.
Well, you know what? It's like the Babe Ruth program. I said, unless you drive by the park or have somebody in the system, you don't even know they exist.
Yeah.
Those guys go down, they rake the field. They when it rains, they clear it up.
Dave Raymond's he's a machine down there.
He's retired 7
He's
times.
retired. I drove by Breed the other day, and he's on the field, the softball diamond, picking weeds. I said, what are you doing?
Yep.
He goes, it's got
All
to look
those
good."
guys,
Yeah.
and they don't get a nickel.
Rich Avery is another guy. He works. He's in charge of Manning and Frazier.
Yeah.
The people don't know what he puts up with people asking him for the field, and he's going to make schedules up. And he's going to accommodate people. It's just, and it's a pain. And you know, he has patience. I don't know if I could have the patience he has.
I said to them, do you know what happens? 5 high schools playing at Frazier Field. Do you know what happens if it rains and you have to cancel a game? How do you fill it in? Because then you've got the Navigators as well later on.
Fisher College.
Yeah. How do you fit everything
Now
in?
you have they tore Keeney Park up, so that's not going to be ready for another year. So
Now you have to practice
so you have
here.
to practice here. So the kids have to get dressed, and they have to wait till 5 o'clock and then walk down. That's kind of a pain. You know, same thing with soccer, boys and girls soccer. So for these guys to stay with it, it's not convenient, like walking out the back, like most high schools do have it. You got to give the kids a lot of credit for what they do.
No question. No question. We're winding down this first half, just under 3 minutes left. All St. Mary's, obviously. Dick, I thank you so very much
I got to go down the
for
field.
stopping by. And
Thank you, and congratulations again.
well, I know
You're
you
gonna
and
have a prime rib with me at the,
I
at the
know
banquet.
you're buying, so I'll take it.
I'm buying.
But you, I thank you and Matt and everyone involved. That I'm again, my family and I are so very thankful and blown away, and we appreciate it. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Dick Newton, the athletic director. We go back a very long way. I think you heard me mention I coached Dick in CYO basketball. He was an outstanding athlete, great pitcher in high school and college. And he was a quarterback in football, and he was driving English for a touchdown in the Thanksgiving Day game, and that was the game where whichever team won was going to the Super Bowl. And if they score, English is going to beat Classville and go to the Super Bowl. And Dick Newton got banged up, hurt, had to come out, and it cost English, and they wound up losing to Classical. Classical went to the Super Bowl. So people don't realize, they know he was a great pitcher. They don't realize he was also an outstanding quarterback, football player. And I thanked him so very much for that honor that English gave me. That came out of the sky. I never expected that. Not being a graduate of Lynn English. Winding down this first half, English put 3 on the board within the first 5 minutes. They've added 4 more. and they've played everybody. They've made in and out substitutions. Everybody has got on the field. And English is just outgunned as they blow the whistle to end the first half. So those goals early, and it's just been downhill. So I think I can go out on a limb and say it's going to be St. Mary's and Classical in the championship final on Saturday. English will take on Tech in the consolation game. But we still have a half here as St. Mary's has jumped out with Skabikas getting a hat trick. That's Sophie Skabikas. She's got 3 of the 7, and it's 7-0 St. Mary's over English at halftime. Getting set to start the second half. St. Mary's is out there waiting for English to come out. And they've cut it down. It's 40-minute halves. Now it's going to be 35-minute half with running time, so the clock won't stop at all. Valentia De La Rocha scored the last goal. So Sophie Skabika started off right where she ended her last couple of years, scoring goals. She's got 3. And she got them very early. She got 2 of them very early. Up and going. And I was afraid that this is what was going to happen. That it would be holding on. Not shooting and just freezing it and running the clock. Where are you going?
They're with me.
Huh?
They're with me.
You can't be up here. Can't be in the press box.
No, I'm not. I'm going right here. Jeff knew all that it was fine.
You can't be on that top way because they're afraid of insurance people slipping and falling.
I can't. Have them watching the window?
You can't be up. You can't be up here unless you're the press.
Okay.
So you're gonna be out.
Okay. I'm bringing it right now.
Huh?
I'm bringing it right now.
Okay.
We're on.
All right, but you can't be up here. It's not. This is not for anybody except the press.
Okay. I was told it was okay. I'm up here like usually all the time. So.
Oh, not supposed to be.
Okay. Let's just sit. Let me stand right there.
They're afraid if people get hurt up here,
I get it.
it would cost them dearly.
Again, we just gotta get everybody on the field on the same page.
Difficult when, for some reason, everyone wants to come up to the press box and be up in the press box. And it's hard to keep track of everything because there's a monetary resolution. I'm trying to find the right word. You don't want anybody to get hurt. You don't want anybody slipping or falling or having any kind of an issue. And they're not supposed to be here, and that would be maybe costing the city money. And everybody just thinks that my team is playing, or I'm coaching, or I'm a fan, and I can be up in the press box. And you make enemies because you tell them they can't. kicked out. So we're going to play running time here. Ball going out of bounds, substitutions, the clock will keep running. And if it goes the way it's going now, St. Mary's will do everything they can not to score again. And I mentioned that before. I don't know if you go like in basketball before the shot clock, if you go to four corners and just hold the ball and freeze it, keep it away from the other team, run the clock down. Is that more embarrassing than scoring goals or scoring points and winning by a large margin? I don't know. I think on both ends it's embarrassing either way. And I know what St. Mary's has done. They've done it in the past and just pass it back and forth because they figure we don't want to score any more goals because we don't want to embarrass the other team. So they're not trying to embarrass English, but sometimes just by not attempting to go forward and just keep passing it back and forth and try to keep it away from English can be just as embarrassing as scoring. Now, St. Mary's, that's one of the few times they've gone past midfield. One of the few times they've advanced the ball. Maloney had a chance to take it and walk in and just kicks it back, and now they kick it back to midfield. And of course, makes it awful difficult to announce this game the way it's going. They'll advance it to the 30-yard line or so, 25, and then kick it back, and then kick it back to their own end. And just try to play keep away. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. English took it away. They can't get the shot off. Taken away from behind. They moved it in. English player went down, but she's back up. Maloney battling. Gets it. And he knocked it back to the defenders again. I have a feeling a lot of the fans went home. Madeline Valencia in net for English has had a lot of work to do. English will get the throw in. Eleni Echeverria, the only time she touches it is when her team kicks it back to her. English hasn't come close to getting a shot on net. So again, this is the second game of the night. First one was Classical over Lynn Tech. And now St. Mary's will take on Classical in the city tournament final. English will take on Lynn Tech in the consolation round on Saturday. And again, St. Mary's goes back to just playing keep away. And of course, what happens is nobody gets anything out of this game. St. Mary's got to play a lot of people who may not normally play early in any games. Here we go, they get in close again. But they're not even attempting to score a goal. They're not taking any shot on net. And they just knock it back. And they kick it back to the St. Mary's end. And they kick it back, get Echeverria involved. And that's the only way she's been involved in this game. Mass substitutions for St. Mary's. They call that contact against St. Mary's. And English will get a free kick. And it will be Gisele Empudia with the kick. And once again, kick it back. And they've just got English chasing the ball all over the place. Peter Papagiannopoulos, the coach, is going to be really frustrated the way things are going. And again, they give it back to Echeverria. And you got to give English credit. They're just running around chasing the ball. They're working hard. They just don't have the experience. The one player they have, Fowler, that was, tap toward the net, not really an attempt to score. Valencia winds up with it, kicks it away. And back to Echeverria. Some of these players would love to be going to the net, taking a shot. Some of these young 7th and 8th graders were playing in their first game. But they have to just go like they're going to try and score and then kick it back. He had it down deep. Not even looking to the net. Got a little bit of a kick. Had it blocked. And now they kick it back upfield. This is Kabikas, who has 3 goals. He goes, slides in, knocks it away, and it goes out of play. Both teams will make substitutions. Centered, it lays there, and Valencia will grab it. Bounced off a couple of defenders, Valencia grabbed it and kicks it away. They just walked right in, around, and just tipped it in. I don't think they wanted to do that. She wound up in front of the net. I think that was Isabella Skabikas. She wound up in front of them with the ball and said, I got nothing else to do. I might as well knock it home. She gets her first of the season. He does a nice job taking it away. Skabikas knocks it back to midfield. And give it back to Echeverria. once again, allowing Eleni Echeverria to get in the game. And that's the only way she's been able to get in the game, catching the ball from her teammates. Just the way it's happening, you know that St. Mary's could score at will. They're getting loose. They're having all kinds of opportunities. English almost knocked that in the net. They tried to knock it away, and the shot almost went on net. That was Yankaria Matias kicking it away and almost knocked it in the net. She just knocked it wide. English will make a couple of substitutions. Corner kick bounces by everybody. And St. Mary's knocks it back. And he knocked it back to midfield. The Skabigases were members of the basketball team. And didn't play last year. And Brooke Maloney was a part of a state championship team. And she opted not to play. She's an outstanding softball player. She stayed with softball and soccer and dropped basketball. And St. Mary's is just keeps it going. 17 straight years they've had at least one state champion. And stick around for the St. Mary's girls basketball team next year. They won 3 state championships in a row. And then last year, as we have mass substitutions again, they went to the Final Four and lost to the team that won the state championship. And it was a year where St. Mary's only had one senior. And the team that played this past year lost from the 3rd championship team, the team that won the number 3 state championship in a row. St. Mary's lost not 1, not 2, but 3 1,000-point scorers. It's very difficult to have a good season after you've won the state championship and you lose a 1,000-point scorer. They won their 3rd in a row and lost 3 1,000-point scorers and went to the Final Four and just got nipped by the team that won the state championship. Now they get all of those people back. So watch out for them. And they still have one of the better players in the state, Bella Awumi, who's only a sophomore. St. Mary's taking a shot. I didn't think they would. I thought they were going to try and ice it. They could have taken a shot. They didn't take it. And now they call St. Mary's offside. They made the pass back, and they were still downfield when they got the pass back. English breaks it up and knocks it deep. McGuire knocks it away. English knocks it away again. And Semhers knocks it upfield. 10 minutes and counting left in this one. It's been over for a long time. Semhers offside. The goals tonight, they got Skabika's got a hat trick. She's a junior. Awomi's got a goal and a perfect corner kick that went in from the corner. She's a sophomore. Kaylee Patterson has a goal. She's a 7th grader. Andrea Bassler scored. She's a freshman. Valentina De La Rocha scored. She's a freshman. Isabella Skabikas, the other scorer, was a senior. She's the only senior. Everybody else was underclassmen. Nice defense by English. These two fields, freshman and Fraser, and Manning, have been thoroughly used. The baseball diamonds are now practice fields for soccer and football, with Memorial Park being obliterated while they're fixing it. And then you get teams practicing here. You've got, I don't know if they still call it Pup One anymore. It's a little older. I think it's 12 and 13. They play here. They got a men's flag football that plays here. I think they still have a men's soccer league that plays games, I think, Sunday night. So this is used quite a bit. Rich Avery has a job and a half on his hands, keeping track of who's where and who's what, doing what. Blocked nicely by the defense of English, blocked again by English. That was Matthias with that nice defensive play. We're closing in on 5 minutes when they'll shut the clock down, and that could leave it up to the officials. Whether they play the whole 5 minutes or just a minute with the score the way it is. English finally clears it. And they carry it out. And they knock St. Mary's down, so St. Mary's will get a free kick. They're lining up to take the free kick. And they knock it dead center. Would have been a field goal, went through the uprights, but it was up over the net, over the crossbar and out of play. And they've shut the clock off now with 5 minutes left. And now it's just a case of how the officials treat that last 5 minutes. With the score 8-0. Blocked by English out in front. Nice job. I think that was Matthias again. He's made a couple of big plays. English blocks it. St. Mary's is going to the point where they're trying to score. They blow the whistle, and that's going to be it. That last goal made it 9-0. So leading St. Mary's, Skavikas got 3. Awumi got 1. Patterson got 1. Pastor got 1. De La Rocha got 1. They got those last couple when they finally went back to playing the game and not trying to play keep away. So St. Mary's will go to 1-0. English will go to 0-1. The first day of the new season here on Channel 15, LETV, and the first day of the Lynn City Soccer Tournament is in the books. It'll be St. Mary's and Classical in the championship final on Saturday. It will be English and Lynn Tech in the consolation round. And then come tomorrow, we'll find out, because the boys will be here tomorrow with the same group of teams that played today. They'll do it tomorrow here. Same time, same station. So we hope you enjoyed it. St. Mary's with an easy win over a very inexperienced Lynn English team. St. Mary's with a lot of great players back from last year. And St. Mary's wins it easily, shutting out. So 2 shutouts. Classical shuts out Tech. St. Mary's shuts out English. And it'll be St. Mary's and Classical in the championship final on Saturday. So 9-0 St. Mary's over English. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.